Lesson 10, Part 4, Substantive Adjectives. In English, almost all adjectives must have a noun that follows them that they are modifying. However, in Greek, an adjective can sometimes stand on its own. When this happens, the adjective is substantive, meaning it's acting like a noun. The term substantive often refers to anything that is acting like a noun, such as a noun, a pronoun, and some adjectives like substantive adjectives. When an adjective is acting as a substantive, you will need to supply a word in the translation, depending on the gender of the adjective. If it is masculine, you'll either supply man or men, depending on if it's singular or plural. Man for singular, men for plural. If it's feminine, you'll supply woman or women. And if it's neuter, you'll supply thing or things. Now, there are some slight exceptions to that. If the context already has something else going on, you might supply a slightly different word from the context. Like, for example, if you were already talking about sons and this substantive masculine adjective is talking about the sons, you could say sons instead of men, that kind of thing. But generally speaking, you're going to supply these words unless you have a better word from the context to supply. So if we had ha agathos blepes, let's take a look and think of this the way we've been thinking so far. First thing we want to know is there a definite article in front of the noun or in front of the adjective? Yes, there is. So it's going to be attributive. Uh-oh, there's no noun. So now we're going to think to ourselves, okay, it's attributive, it's normal adjective, but it's substantive. Okay, we need to supply a word. Let's look. Okay, what is this? This is masculine, singular, nominative. Okay, it's masculine, so I'm going to supply the word man or men. It's singular, so I'm going to supply man. The good man is seeing. Hey, agathe blepes. Okay, we know it's attributive because it has a definite article, but it doesn't have a noun, so it's going to be substantive. Now let's see, it's feminine, so I'm going to supply woman or women. It's singular, so I'm going to supply woman. The good woman is seeing. Ta agathan piptes. Okay, we have a definite article, so it's attributive. We don't have a noun, so it's going to be substantive. I'm going to supply, let's see, it's neuter and it's singular, so I'm going to supply thing. The good thing is falling. Hoi agathoi. This one's masculine plural, so it's the good men. Blepes tas agathas. He is seeing the good women. Now here, this one is in the accusative because it's a direct object. It can happen anywhere in the sentence. Blepes ta agatha. He is seeing the good things. Now, you could have this without the definite article. It's very rare that it shows up without the definite article, but let's say, for example, the sentence was agathos blepes, no the. We wouldn't really have to worry about it being predicative because there's no noun for it to be predicative to. You can't have a substantive adjective that's predicative. It just plain doesn't work. All of your substantives are going to be attributives. I just mentioned the whole attributive thing earlier because that's probably the first thing you're going to think of when you're looking at an adjective is it attributive? But you could also first look and see, is there a noun? No, it's not. It's a substantive, which is by definition attributive. They go hand in hand. So if there is no definite article, like we were saying, just agathos blepes, we go up, it's substantive. Okay, well, it has to be attributive. It's going to be good man because I'm going to supply man, but I'm going to say a good man. A good man is seeing. Or if it's plural, we might say some good men because you don't want to say just plain good men are seeing. That's a little bit awkward. So some good men, some good women, some good things. That's what we would do. But that's pretty rare to have a substantive that doesn't have a definite article in front of it. It's much more common to see it with a definite article. Oh, now here's an interesting one. Blepes tain doxon tone agathon. This one is absolutely positively impossible to know whether it's masculine or feminine or neuter because the form is exactly the same for all three of them. So hopefully we would have more context. Hopefully we'd have a sentence in front of it and we would know which one it is. But just in isolation here with just this sentence, it's either he is seeing the glory of the good men, or he is seeing the glory of the good women, or he is seeing the glory of the good things. We really don't know. Now, anytime you can't tell what gender something is, this is not politically correct, but this is how grammar works. You should default to the masculine or use something that's gender neutral. You can do either one. So you could say he is seeing the glory of the good men, or you could say he is seeing the glory of the good people. That's sort of the default way to go. As you can see, sometimes you cannot tell the gender of a substantive adjective. I just mentioned that. If that happens, either use the context, which makes the most sense, or if you can't tell, use the masculine. Or as I mentioned, if there is something that's gender neutral, you can do that, but otherwise default to masculine. Summary. Substantive is when an adjective stands by itself without a noun. When an adjective is acting as a substantive, you will need to supply a word in the translation depending on the gender of the adjective. So if it's masculine, supply man or men. If it's feminine, supply woman or women. If it's neuter, supply thing or things.